So today we are going to be discussing the next associate of Lord Chaitanya. So we have been doing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leelas in a sequence, and so far we have uh, discussed Lord Chaitanya and his mood and his incarnation, why he appeared in this world, etc. So today we are going to take up the second personality who is considered to be one of the five Panchatattva's, the most important personalities in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. So I'm going sequentially. The last two sessions I've been focusing on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Today's session I'll focus on Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is the eternal associate of Lord Chaitanya. It is explained that Nityananda Prabhu is Lord Balaram. In Krishna Leela, Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the same Balaram comes as Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So it is explained that in Gaur Leela, every single character that is there in Krishna Leela also makes an appearance in Gaur Leela in some form or the other. So the form of Balaram in Gaur Leela is Nityananda Prabhu. So today we are going to try to understand the mood and the consciousness of Nityananda Prabhu, and we're going to try to understand some of the pastimes of Lord Nityananda Prabhu so that we can appreciate and understand this great personality. So Nityananda Prabhu is an expansion of the Guru Tattva. So the spiritual master is considered to be the most important personality in all our lives, but the spiritual master originates from something known as the Guru Tattva. The Guru Tattva is not one single person. It's an energy, and anyone connected, plugged into that energy, becomes a part of the Guru Tattva, and therefore they can initiate, they can empower, they can teach, and they can share knowledge. So the origin of that Guru Tattva is Nityananda Prabhu. It is explained that Nityananda Prabhu was born in a place known as Navadvip. Sorry, in a place known as Ekachakra in West Bengal. Ekachakra is a small village in um, somewhere about 3 or 4 hours away from Mayapur, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born. Nityananda Prabhu was born to a great personality known as Haday Pandit and his wife Padmavati. Haday Pandit and Padmavati were the parents of Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu, when he was born in Ekachakra Gram, which is even today a very, very small and tiny village. Even today, if you go there, there are hardly any roads there. There is hardly any. It's not even a town. It's a very tiny village, literally with about 10 or 15 houses even today. Nityananda Prabhu was born in such a beautiful setting, extremely beautiful scenic surroundings around the village. Nityananda Prabhu, when he was born there, he was from his childhood always absorbed in Krishna Leela. It is explained that Nityananda Prabhu did not play any regular games. He did not play, games that regular children would play. The only games that Nityananda Prabhu would play was spiritual games. He invented a way to play with his friends. A very interesting style of absorbing himself in Krishna Lila, which is known as dramas. Every single day, Nityananda Prabhu would organize dramas with all his friends. He would gather all the children in the village. Sometimes he would even gather adults in the village. And he would direct dramas. And they would have elaborate dramas that lasted for 1 or 2 hours sometimes. And these dramas were so intricate and so detailed that people were always stunned. How does Nityananda Prabhu know so many details? And he would pick up one pastime and he would go into so many details of that pastime to enact it that people would be amazed. Not only were the children participating in these dramas with great enthusiasm, but even the adults. The adults would come to watch Nityananda Prabhu's dramas. And whenever anyone asked Nityananda Prabhu, how do you know so many details? Nityananda Prabhu would always say, these are my pastimes. Of course, he was a small child, so nobody really understood what he meant. But what he really meant was actually he was a part of all these pastimes. In Krishna Leela, he was Balaram. So he actually witnessed all the pastimes. In Lord Ram's Leela, he was Lakshman. So he actually witnessed all these pastimes. So, like this, Nityananda Prabhu was the eternal associate of the Lord, and therefore he was a part of all these wonderful pastimes of the Lord. And whenever Nityananda Prabhu would enact any of these pastimes, he would always choose the role of Balaram or Lakshman. He would not do any other role in these dramas. And whenever he would be questioned, why are you only doing these roles? He would say, this is my eternal pastime. Like this, Nityananda Prabhu gave a lot of joy to everyone who witnessed these pastimes. One time, and these pastimes, these dramas were not just ordinary fun activities for these children, but for Nityananda Prabhu, these were real. He was actually reliving those pastimes that he was a part of. One time, they decided to do a drama on the fight between Lakshman and Ravan. And there was this very powerful battle. Nityananda had given all the kids different roles. Each of them were given not just roles, they were also given dialogues, what exactly dialogue they need to speak. And all the children they rehearsed and they really knew all their roles well. And then the drama began. Nityananda Prabhu at that point in time, he acted as Lakshman, and one child acted as Ravan. And he threw a flower at Nityananda Prabhu. That was supposed to be the arrow. And when the flower hit the chest of Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu fell unconscious. Just as Ravan, when he had thrown this Sheela weapon at Lakshman, the weapon penetrated into Lakshman's heart and Lakshman fell unconscious. Exact same drama was enacted. And when the flower hit Nityananda Prabhu's chest, he fell unconscious. And now, when he fell unconscious, he didn't act. He actually became unconscious. Now, all the children, they were so worried seeing Nityananda Prabhu fall like that. They now completely forgot what they're supposed to do next. And all of them began to panic and they were very worried. They were trying to bring water. They were trying to sprinkle water in his eyes. They were trying to shake him up. And they called all the adults. Everyone in the village gathered together and nobody could wake up Nityananda Prabhu. They were extremely worried about what is happening. They even called the physician of that village. And even the physician had no idea what is happening. And that is when one of the devotees who who was given the role of Hanuman, he realized, oh, when Nityananda Prabhu fell unconscious, he had told me that I am supposed to go to the Gandhamadana Parvat and get this herb. And only when I get that herb, he'll become conscious. He had told me 3 times to remember that. And I completely forgot about this in the panic. And there was one devotee named who was acting as Jambavan. He gave him instructions of how to go to this Gandhamadana Parvat, way up in the Himalayas. And according to that, the boy who acted as Hanuman rushed out and he came back after some time with a big rock in his hand. And that's supposed to represent the Gandhamadana mountain. And as soon as Hanuman brought that rock and kept it next to Nityananda Prabhu, suddenly he woke up as if he woke up from a deep slumber. And all the people in that village became so happy. And that's when they realized Nityananda Prabhu is not just acting, he's actually living these pastimes. That's how absorbed Nityananda Prabhu was in these pastimes of Ram Leela and Krishna Leela. And from that point onwards, all the villagers in that village of Ekachakra Gram did not take these dramas of Nityananda Prabhu to be very lightly, but they actually gave 100% attention to these dramas, and they were not just any more child's plays, but they were very, very powerful spiritual inspiration for everyone in that village. Nityananda Prabhu grew up till the age of 12 in Ekchakra Gram. One day, when Nityananda Prabhu was 12 years of age, 12 years old, a sannyasi came to their village, and he came to the house of Haday Pandit and Padmavati, and Haday Pandit and Padmavati welcomed them, welcomed the sannyasi, gave him so many elaborate forms of worship, and they respected him so much. This mendicant remained in the house of Nityananda Prabhu for 3 days. And Ade Pandit, um, he told this sannyas, this mendicant, the sannyasi, my home is your home. Please feel free to take whatever you like. And this visiting sannyasi, he said, I have a simple life. My needs are very, very minimal. But he said, I needed a traveling companion. And he looked at young Nitai and he said, this little boy, 12-year-old at that point in time, he said, he would be an ideal companion for me. Hadaya Pandit was shocked. If somebody comes to your house and you tell him, take whatever you want, and he takes your son only, it's not an easy thing to handle, isn't it? Hadaya Pandit was really shocked. And he asked Nityananda Prabhu, do you want to travel with this sannyasi? Nityananda Prabhu immediately agreed. He said, yes, yes, I want to travel. And that way, Hadaya Pandit and Padmavati, with a very heavy heart, they departed with their son, who became a traveling companion of the sannyasi. Nitai traveled to all the holy places along with the sannyasi for the next 20 years until he became 32. And um, at the age of 32, he received so many instructions through the last 20 years. He received so many instructions from this elderly sannyasi, and he himself took sannyas. As Nityananda Prabhu continued traveling, he began to feel ecstasy in all these sacred places. And he began to slowly enter into a mood which is known as avadut. The word avadut means spiritually elevated person who is completely aloof to material surroundings and appears to be crazy to the uninformed people, to those who don't know, basically. So, avadut is a person whose mode of activity and general behavior is increasingly unexplainable. No one can understand what motivates him and why he behaves in a certain way. For example, Nityananda Prabhu sometimes would start dancing in ecstasy, and uh, you know the cloth that is meant to cover his lower part of his body, you tie it on his head and dance. Now that's not something that is normal, isn't it? But Nityananda Prabhu, when you get into these ecstatic symptoms, he would just go crazy, and he would sometimes laugh for long periods of time, sometimes he would cry for long periods of times, sometimes he would constantly be chanting the holy names for a long period of time. And that's when everybody understood Nityananda Prabhu is not a normal person, he's an Avadut sannyasi. Avadut sannyasis are people that you cannot judge based on their social behavior. They're just out of the regular box of this world. Nityananda Prabhu, while traveling around India, the length and breadth of India to all the holy places, he came to this place known as Pandharpur, which is currently in Maharashtra. And there, Nityananda Prabhu met his guru, whose name was Lakshmipati Tirtha. And Lakshmipati Tirtha was, at that point in time, Lakshmipati Tirtha was in Maharashtra. He belonged to this Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And that day, the day when he met Nityananda Prabhu, the previous night, Lakshmipati Tirtha had an intense dream about Lord Balaram. And in that dream, he actually visualized and saw the form of Lord Balaram. And the very same day, he met Nityananda Prabhu. And when he saw Nityananda Prabhu, he was convinced that this is Balaram. This is not different from Balaram. And soon they developed a very deep devotional relationship. Uh, it is said that Lakshmipati Tirtha at this point in time initiated Nityananda Prabhu and gave him the name Swarupa. Lakshmipati Tirtha was one, he had many disciples. Out of the many disciples Lakshmipati Tirtha he had, one was Nityananda Prabhu and the other was Madhavendra Puri Prabhu. So that way, Madhavendra Puri Prabhu, Madhavendra Puri and Nityananda Prabhu were god brothers. And Nityananda Prabhu always treated Madhavendra Puri very as his own guru because he was a very senior god brother to him. And when Nityananda Prabhu received initiation from his guru, eventually he went to Vrindavan. When Nityananda Prabhu reached Vrindavan, his ecstasy increased millions of times. He visited all the holy places connected with Lord Krishna, and wherever he visited, he danced, rolled on the ground, laughed, howled like a madman. He was overwhelmed with ecstasy and he cried, "Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna?" And he would shiver uncontrollably. When he visited all these holy places, he started remembering all those pastimes where uh, he, as Balaram, uh, performed pastimes with Krishna and performed pastimes with his own brother, Lord Krishna. Like this, Nityananda Prabhu, he enjoyed spiritual ecstasy. In the year 1506, that means after or more than 32 years of living in this world, Nityananda Prabhu, he traveled to the land of Nadia, Navadvip, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu resided. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was already born there. He was about 24 years old at that point in time. And at this point in time, Nityananda Prabhu was 32 years old. So there was a 12-year difference between the two of them. Nityananda Prabhu was older to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by almost 12 years. And Mahaprabhu was 20 years old at that point in time, and Nityananda Prabhu was 32 years at this point in time. And when Nityananda Prabhu reached Navadvip and he met Lord Chaitanya, they had such an amazing experience. It almost felt like they now were complete. So far, Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu had not even seen each other, not even met each other. They embraced each other and began to cry rivers of ecstasy. And Nityananda Prabhu was not different from Balaram, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not different from Krishna. It is explained it's like Krishna Balaram meeting together. And when Nityananda Prabhu came to Navadvip, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he made him sit on a Vyas, on an altar, and he performed Vyas Puja to Nityananda Prabhu. Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu perform Vyas Puja to Nityananda Prabhu? Vyas Puja is performed to the spiritual master. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered Nityananda Prabhu to be the spiritual master of the entire world. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. Lord Nityananda is Guru. So when we connect to Krishna, we cannot connect to Krishna directly. We connect to Krishna through the medium of the spiritual master. And the spiritual master must be worshipped. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by worshipping Nityananda Prabhu, is teaching us how one should serve the spiritual master and worship the spiritual master. Nityananda Prabhu kept saying, Nimai is my master. Nimai is another name of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nimai Pandit is my Lord and Master. But Nimai Pandit, Lord Chaitanya, was worshipping Lord Nityananda. So that way, Guru Krishna teaches us to worship the Guru, and the Guru teaches us to worship Krishna. And that is an eternal relationship between Krishna and the spiritual master, between Krishna and Balaram. Krishna always respected his brother Balaram, and he always considered Balaram to be a wise person. And similarly here, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always respected Nityananda Prabhu. Even though he was an Avadut, he always considered Nityananda Prabhu to be a worshipable person and a wise person. We will continue discussing on Nityananda Prabhu's pastimes the next time also, so that we have a little more insight on this personality, Lord Nityananda. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.